Hey everybody, Paloma here with American Up. And I really wanted to share my thoughts on what I just saw over the last week with the RNC and also what we saw with the DNC and the difference that we've seen between Joe Biden, who is basically a puppet. That's the way I see him. I see Joe Biden as a puppet, not only a puppet, but someone who had 8 years in office to really make a difference for the American people. And that him and Obama never did. They never took the chance to do anything. But now that it's President Trump's presidency turn, now they attack him. All they have is attacks on our president. But I got to tell you, last night, the closing of the RNC, the acceptance speech by President Trump at the White House was something that I truly wish I had been there for. One of the most amazing things I've ever seen, especially the fireworks at the end, the closing, the singing, the feeling of being an American, which is what it made me so proud. Even the national anthem that they played prior to the ceremony. So it's the total opposite from what we see from the Democratic Party. And what's funny is that the Democratic Party wants to convince us, especially us, because they know that there's a lot of us, Latinos, Hispanics, they want to convince us that the Republican Party is against us. I have to tell you that I'm an immigrant from Mexico. I'm a legal immigrant from Mexico. I'm a naturalized American citizen that I consider to be the biggest privilege, the biggest blessing in my life. President Trump said it during the convention. He said one of the biggest privilege in the world is to be an American citizen, the biggest blessing. And that's exactly how I feel. Every day I wake up and I thank God for being an American citizen, for giving me the opportunity to become a legal part of the greatest country in the world. So every aspect of the Republican National Convention made me proud because it reminded me of what we're fighting for, of what we've been fighting for over the last 5 years. I've supported President Trump since day one. I never back down. I never let anybody tell me how to think, what to do. I never let anybody scare me down from my thoughts, from my views. Not only that, but from what I've seen with my own eyes. What President Trump mentioned in 2015 was something that I had been seeing for years. It wasn't something that he came out and said that I agreed with. It was more like he was bringing my silence. He was giving me a voice over issues that I had seen for at least a decade. At least a decade I had seen some of these issues. And it wasn't him convincing me or telling me how to think. Me, a person from Mexico, an immigrant from Mexico who wants to build that wall, who now wants to finish that wall. He wasn't telling me how to think. I was watching him on TV thinking, wow, oh my God, someone who finally understands. A politician who's not going to let America turn into that third world country like the one where I come from, okay? Where everybody is corrupt, where the people don't matter, where only special interests matter, where only big pharma matters. America can't turn into that. And we need someone like him. And we need someone to keep America secure and America safe and America beautiful and America clean, which is what I grew up respecting America for. So these last 4 days have been so encouraging for me to keep fighting, because if we did it the first time, if we did it in 2016, we can only do it again, and we can only do it better. And I've been obviously not terrified, but I've been worried over what's been happening over the last 6 months with the pandemic, because I knew they were going to use that against him, no matter what. You know how the Democrats are. And they try to use anything they can against them. And they couldn't use the economy. And they couldn't use unemployment. And they couldn't use economic development. Why? Because President Trump had the greatest economy before any of this happened, just the way he promised he would do. Guys, I've been dealing with and seeing politicians, especially in places like Mexico, my entire life. Politicians who only care about their campaign promises, but they never make them happen. I knew President Trump was not going to let us down because he wasn't doing it for a campaign promise. He was doing it from his heart. He was doing it because he cared. He had a great life before any of this. I followed President Trump for the last 2 decades. Okay, I can't imagine being someone like him and putting my life and myself out on the line in such a big way, the way President Trump did. But he did. And he did it because he cares. And he did it for the American people. I watched one of his speeches before he was elected in 2016, where he talked about the veterans and how they were dying on the street. I got to see a veteran die on the street in the streets of San Diego. It was a summer day, and he died during a heat wave in San Diego. I got to see the ambulance pick him up and take him once he was already dead. So I knew what President Trump was talking about. He wasn't trying to convince me of anything. I already knew. I saw it in 2015. I watched a veteran die on the street, homeless in San Diego. And when I watched President Trump's speech about saving the people that have fought for America and for all the freedoms and all the privileges that we have, because we are so privileged to be Americans. That's when I knew. That was one of, I mean, I always knew, but with that speech, I knew he meant it from his heart. All I had to do was just look at him. I think all of us have been able to see right through him. And I couldn't be more proud now to keep supporting him. I've been supporting him since the beginning, and I'm not backing down. I am never backing down from supporting President Trump. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good weekend. Bye.